Meet Jackie and Bernard Green from Donegal in Ireland.
Myself and Bernard met as a blind date, which was set up by my mum.
We really hit it off the first night and we've really just been together ever since.
It was love at first sight.
Just 9 months later, Jackie and Bernard were engaged. And they started to make big plans for their special day.
I've always wanted a really traditional wedding, a nice, quiet, just family and close friends. But we wanted to do something that would make it different at the same time. So we decided to make a wedding video and keep it as a surprise for our guests.
We didn't know what people would think, or it was a bit too crazy, but we did it anyway.
But this was a wedding video with a difference, so they sought the help of experienced filmmakers, Sean and Kieran.
They approached us and they asked to make an entertaining video to show their reception before they came in after the wedding.
Prior to Jackie and Bernard's wedding video, we'd never done a wedding video before. I was sort of excited to get involved in this.
You call it, Kieran?
So work on the top secret project began.
Action.
But time was against them.
We filmed the video about 3 weeks before our wedding day. There was no kind of big rehearsals, it was kind of really just off the cuff.
So when you get here, just go, Jackie, come on! So like more, sorry.
It was very hard to keep it so quiet. Not being able to talk to anybody else about it was the most frustrating part because we were so excited of what we were doing.
Action!
That we couldn't tell anybody.
3 weeks later, the wedding day arrived. But before the big premiere, there was the small matter of their ceremony.
Our wedding was quite traditional. We both met at the altar and we had a really traditional service. It was such a lovely ceremony.
With the ceremony over, the guests headed to the reception venue, unaware of the horrors that were about to unfold.
Without further ado, if I could have you all upstanding to introduce the bride and groom.
When it was time for us to go into the reception hall, the manager introduced us as Mr. and Mrs. Green, and when she opened the door, we weren't there. So everybody was like, oh my God, where have they gone?
Sorry guys, I think we have a wee bit of a hitch. We seem to have lost the bride and groom.
Suddenly, the big screen inside the venue begins to play. And it's showtime.
Show the love, that's it, work it, work it.
So myself and Bernard were posing for some photos in the forest.
Great. Love it, love it.
And then next thing we see some people kind of coming towards us in the distance. And we're like, what is that? And the photographer's like, come on guys, look at me, look at the lens.
Guys, eye lines, look at the lens, look at me, look at the camera.
Next thing they're coming closer and closer and we can see their faces all white and they've got blood and Bernard's like, zombies!
Oh, look at love, please. Zombies! Zombies? What do you mean zombies? Wow, zombies!
They kind of take down our photographer and we're like, oh my God, we need to get out of here. And Bernard's like, run, run, Jackie, run.
Run, Jackie, run!
We take off running and then I kind of stop and Bernard's like, what are you doing? Come on, come on, come on. I'm like, I've got this, I'll get it, it's fine.
Jackie, what are you doing? Come on!
I got this.
I'm left with no weapons and she's there with a 12 gauge shotgun. Arnold Schwarzenegger would be proud of her.
Bernard kind of is like trying to find some sort of a weapon. Then the zombies kind of coming towards him. And he just whacks her head off.
But it's not the size of the stick, it's how you use it.
Jackie, come on!
Wait.
Later,
We need to warn everyone.
our courageous couple raced to save their wedding guests from the zombie apocalypse.
Bernard had never driven a jet ski before, and Bernard can't swim. So probably the scariest part was going on the jet ski and trusting Bernard like to keep us both alive.
But are they too late? Next. A woman who found the love of her life right under her nose.
They say there's one person out there for everyone. In my case, it was myself.
Meet Sophie Tanner from the UK, an independent woman who's living her best life flying solo.
People often ask me if I get lonely living alone, but solitude and spending time on your own and enjoying your own company is a skill that everyone needs to learn to enjoy, whether they're in a relationship or not.
Sophie's passion for self-love led her to the concept of sologamy, which is the act of marrying yourself. I quite like the idea of that.
I went through quite a bad breakup, and I woke up one morning and I realised that I wasn't the loser my ex was. That I actually really was happy. I really loved my life. I loved my friends and family, and most of all, I loved myself. So I thought I want to celebrate this idea that I can love myself. And what better way to celebrate love than with a wedding?
But surely you can't get married without a proposal.
I didn't propose to myself as such, but that morning I woke up and I realised that I was the one for me, that I wanted to celebrate my self-commitment. That morning, I'll always remember as very special because that's when the light bulb moment went off. Good girl. And so I call that my self-proposal.
Having said yes to herself, and why wouldn't she, Sophie set about planning her big day.
The planning of the wedding was relatively easy because it was just me making the decisions. I wanted to make it a public affair because I think there's a lot of stigma around being single, and I wanted to challenge that. So I did it in a public arena.
Sophie decided on an open-air ceremony in Brighton. Of course she did. Which would be sure to draw a crowd. But being the centre of attention has its downsides.
The night before the wedding, I did have a what the hell are you doing moment. I was nervous about being in front of an audience and thinking that everyone would laugh at me. So I definitely had pre-wedding jitters.
Thankfully, she didn't get cold feet and leave herself at the altar. And the ceremony got underway.
I had my friend James dressed up as the Pope waiting for me.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to unify this woman in holy matrimony.
And my father gave me away to myself.
Who gives this woman to marry herself? I do. Thank you, Father. Please sit forward.
And the Pope took me through my vows, which were the traditional wedding vows, adapted from the plural to the singular.
Do you, Sophie Tanner, take Sophie Tanner to be your wife? Do you promise to love her, comfort her, honour her, keep her, in sickness and in health?
I do.
I had a whole collection of friends gathered around, but there were passers-by who also joined. I heard people saying, "What is that girl doing? Where is the groom?"
With this ring, I be wed.
With this ring, I be wed.
I never thought I'd be in the middle of a busy street marrying myself. But I just felt really powerful.
I pronounce you wife!
That final moment when James pronounced me my own wife, it just felt really jubilant, and all the doubts that I'd had up until then just fell away, and it felt like completely the right thing to do, and I'll never regret it.
With Sophie declared wife, just one tradition remained. But it wasn't the easiest to pull off solo.
The moment you lay down kiss the bride!
I wasn't sure what to do for the first kiss, whether to kiss a mirror, but that seems like vanity. So in the end, I opted for that thing you do in the playground where you wrap your arms around yourself. And that actually worked really well. I got quite into it. What I'm trying to do is make a statement in solidarity to anyone who's single out there and who's made to feel like they should be ashamed of it, that they can be responsible for their own happiness and they don't always need to be waiting for the one.
And 4 years later, she's still the love of her life.
missing.
This year, which was my 4th anniversary, I decided to renew my vows because I wanted to show that I didn't regret it.
I promise to cherish and love myself for eternity.
And I'm happy to say that me, myself and I are still going strong.
There are many traditions associated with weddings, and the bouquet toss is a smashing one. Literally, in this case. This bride in China clearly doesn't know her own strength, as her toss showers the shocked guests in ceiling tiles. Talk about bringing the house down. At this wedding in Canada, a plastic table is doubling as a dance floor for this bride and her cousins. Keen to share the limelight, another guest joins the celebrations, but only ends up crashing the party. I mean, come on, we could all see that coming. Resulting in a blushing bride. Bottoms up! Every marital journey has bumps in the road. But this one's off to a particularly rough start. What begins as a romantic scooter ride for this bride in China turns into a nightmare as her new husband unexpectedly drops her off and then doesn't even notice. Not the best start to married life. And now, a burning question.
Will you please marry me?
With an outrageous finale.
My proposal was smoking hot.
This is Josh and Riva Madriga from Ontario in Canada.
I met Riva in high school, and we were good friends throughout high school, and we started to date after high school.
He's very loyal and hardworking, and he always can make me laugh. And his blue eyes, he has really nice blue eyes.
Blue-eyed Josh had been dating Riva for 4 years when he discovered his professional calling.
I remember the day he called and he quit his job as a welder, and he said that this is what he wanted to do. And I thought, that, okay.
I've been a stuntman for 10 years now. I grew up doing skateboarding and BMX and snowboarding. I was good at learning how to crash and knowing my body and how it works, and it was a natural progression.
After 6 years together, Riva wanted to tie this stuntman down with an engagement.
I had talked about it nonstop. He had told me countless times to stop talking about it, but I had always wanted it to happen.
It may not have been up for discussion, but secretly, Josh had big plans for his proposal.
I came up with the idea of proposing on fire, just due to my creative background and liking to be unique and doing things that are unusual and entertaining.
So Josh pretended he needed Riva's help shooting a video for his social channel. And she was in for a shock when she arrived.
The drag outfit was especially unexpected and unique. He had no womanly shape, and the hair was a rat's nest, so...
Why are you wearing a dress?
Because I'm feeling kind of sick today.
I only have 3 more hours.
I decided to wear drag because I thought it'd be funny. And if my wife would say yes to a man in drag, then I would be pretty set for life.
Rolling.
Rhea, leave it running. Leave it running. Come here for a sec. Quickly.
Explosives ready.
He may have gone to the effort of dressing up, but the proposal didn't get off to the best of starts.
Ow!
Like my nose ring.
Oh, sorry.
I accidentally knocked her nose ring. I was thinking like, oh man, this whole idea is so dumb. Like, I'm dressed in drag. Now my girlfriend's hurting. This is not good at all.
I was cold. I didn't want to be there. I was kind of like, let's just shoot this, and I want to go home.
I love you so much.
When he said, I love you so much, Reba. You're not doing a fire burn, are you? I thought, okay, this is off script.
I want to spend the rest of my life with you really badly. So, Reba Carmichael, will you please marry me?
And I thought, oh my goodness, it's happening.
Yes! Oh my God!
Yeah! Yeah!
I told my friend to only light me on fire if there was a yes, and when the yes came, then that was time for the fire. I was probably overconfident that Reba would say yes. I, in my mind, knew that she would, and she did. I didn't have a backup plan. If she said no, I didn't know what I was going to do.
Reeva's like not even mad about that nose ring thing. She forgot about that a little while ago.
I was so excited. All I wanted to do was like hug him and kiss him, but he had all this gel on his face that was protecting himself, and it was nasty.
Oh my goodness.
It may have been an outrageous proposal, yet he's on fire and is dressed as a woman. But the wedding 8 months later was a much more traditional affair.
Sometimes I look back and think, it'd be so nice if you weren't dressed in drag for our proposal. But at least he wasn't dressed like that for the wedding.
As well as the ups in married life, there are inevitably the downs. Because the path to true love very rarely runs smoothly. But there are some couples whose relationships have stood the test of time.
We've been married 60 years. I hope we last another 60.
And after decades of wedded bliss,
I still like to hold her and kiss her.
A big softie.
I never, ever go to bed at night without giving Colin a kiss.
They know all the secrets to a successful marriage.
Not sex, is it?
Meet John and Joan Bradshaw from London.
We've been married for 60 years. 60 long years.
60 years and 1 month.
The time has just gone by, you know, just like that.
John and Joan first laid eyes on each other in 1958.
I worked in an ice cream parlour in Walthamstow High Street, and John used to come in of a Saturday morning with his 2 friends, and I thought, oh, there's a nice-looking boy.
I was about 20, Joan was 17.
18.
Oh, 18, okay. And when I first saw Joan, I thought she's the girl for me. You know, love at first sight is a sort of peculiar saying, but I think it must have been.
Oh, it was definitely love at first sight.
Although the young lovers were immediately drawn to each other, it wasn't long before they were torn apart.
2 weeks after, John went to the Air Force for his national service. You know, it was heart-wrenching, really.
In 1958, the National Service Act was still in effect, meaning all healthy young men were drafted into the armed forces for up to 1.5 years.
I did feel sort of really upset about it. I didn't really want to do national service. I'd just completed all my engineering studies, and then you're drafted into something that you don't want to do.
It wasn't good at all. I only used to see him weekends, so, you know, it was very hard.
I just couldn't wait to get home to see Joan. I used to think about her all the time.
Despite the challenges, John and Joan found a way to keep the flame burning.
I used to write to Joan every week, and they were all very amorous sort of letters. And I always used to write "Swalk" on the back, sealed with a loving kiss, and you put a little cross.
To my angel.
Well, I've always called Joan my angel, because to me she is an angel that's come into my life.
Oh, blimey, John, you're going to make me cry.
With the bond between them as strong as ever, whilst John was on leave for the weekend, they took the next step in their relationship.
We got married in a registry office in Grove Road, Walthamstow. We didn't have really the money to have a white wedding, but it didn't matter.
No, we couldn't afford it.
No, definitely not.
Not on 17 and sixpence a week. The day we got married was definitely the happiest day of my life.
Oh, dear.
I knew then that I'd got my angel forever.
Oh, dear. We didn't actually have a honeymoon. We just went to Southend on the scooter, on the Lambretta, for a few days. Oh, dear.
1 year later, John's national service came to an end, and the couple set about starting a family. 4 children, 6 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren later, some things aren't quite what they used to be.
I think the only thing that's changed over the last few years is that we don't really have any sex relations anymore.
Oh, should we go there?
Because we're too tired and sort of...
No, don't go there.
You can cut that out if you like.
Please.
You get to a point when you think, oh, boy, oh, God.
Shush.
But after 6 decades together, it's safe to say they found their own secrets to a successful marriage.
One of the secrets to our marriage is that we have our own individual hobbies. Joan's is gardening. My hobbies are video games. Right, clutch. I think that's one of the secrets of a marriage. We do our things as we want to. Don't we, Joan?
Absolutely.
Another thing is that you find that as couples get older, they sleep in separate beds. And I think you should always sleep with your partner. I mean, we've never slept apart, have we?
No, never.
And we always cuddle up when we're in bed. Even now we cuddle up. Just a lovely, lovely angel. And you?
Thank you.
My angel.
Oh.
Earlier, Jackie and Bernard fought off killer zombies in their blockbuster wedding video.
Jackie, come on!
And now they're on a rescue mission to save their wedding guests from being eaten alive.
We're trying to get to the hotel and warn everyone, and we just stumble out of the forest, and luckily enough, there's a helicopter just about to take off.
Run onto the helicopter and we're like, go, 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 go. And actually that day there was like a yellow weather warning. It was really, really windy.
So there was a few kind of nervy moments when the helicopter would move or dip down. The helicopter lands and we get off. We see a jet ski. Jackie kicks the sailor who's tethering the jet ski.
2 of us jump on the jet ski and we shoot off. Bernard had never driven a jet ski before, and neither had I. And Bernard can't swim. I can, but I had a big massive dress on, so that was probably the scariest part, was going on the jet ski and trusting Bernard like to keep us both alive.
It was a wee bit dangerous in that respect, but I think it was well worth it.
So we arrive in the reception of the hotel and we're like, we need to warn everyone.
Meanwhile, inside the venue, people are just trying to eat their dinner.
You've got tomato sauce all over your mouth.
There's no napkins.
Well, go to the bathroom and wash it off.
Can I just... Oh.
Go on.
Good morning, everyone. One of the guys comes out groaning, with sauce all over his face, and of course we spot him and obviously assume he's a zombie.
There's a bus crash in Donegal this morning.
And the next thing, the news kind of catches my eye at the side, and the news reporter says that there was a bus crash. They weren't actually zombies, they were Daniel O'Donnell fans that got caught up in the bus accident.
Bus. According to the other passengers, they were dazed and confused and wandered off into the forest.
So if they weren't...
And he wasn't?
Then...
So the realisation then kind of hits like, oh my God, we've just murdered people, but we can't let this ruin our wedding day.
Couple of nutcases.
Not much ruin our day. No one can know what we just did.
After everything that's just happened, you're just going to walk right in there?
Yes, that's exactly what we're going to do.
And that's then when the doors opened. Everybody was just going hysterical, like they were laughing and clapping, and just it really set a really nice atmosphere for the day. Everyone was buzzing, like, and they're like, oh my God, like, where did that even come from?
After all the months of planning and everything, it just it was a lovely conclusion. It was a really happy feeling.
Their zombie wedding video went down a storm. All thanks to filmmakers Kieran and Sean, who brought the killer project to life.
We didn't have many resources, but the beautiful thing about where we live is that you can make a few phone calls and you can get incredible production value like helicopters and jet skis just from local favours.
And the dynamic duo weren't just behind the lens.
Photographer is actually me. I play the photographer.
And I'm the guy that gets kicked into the water. The lengths we go to.
Leading up to the wedding can be so stressful. You're just under so much pressure to get things done. And even like when we were making the video, it was just like, oh my God, I could do without this today. But then when we were on set and we were filming and we were having so much fun, kind of like it was a good way to relax.
Yeah, definitely. It was a stress buster for us, and would recommend it, definitely.
If there's one thing a bride needs on her big day, it's a trusty bridesmaid. And Tiffany's got your back.
Oh my God!
Brides hire her to avoid any nuptial nightmares.
One of the bridesmaids got nail varnish on her dress.
But there's a twist.
I can't have the other bridesmaids knowing that I'm undercover.
The story is, she's a long-lost friend.
I have apparently known the bride since we were on gap year together.
But the truth is, they barely know each other.
This is actually all complete rubbish. I met the bride 6 weeks ago.
She's the undercover bridesmaid.
I've just got to pull it off.
I'm meeting up with my bride Kirsten today, who's hired me to be her undercover bridesmaid. And one of the things that brides always forget about is the importance of the wedding cake. So today we are going to go wedding cake tasting.
Tiffany's brought Kirsten to a specialist cake supplier.
Hi!
To show her the vast array of creations available.
Let's go!
Oh, excellent.
Cake tasting,
so
cake
excited.
tasting. Is this the first time you've looked at wedding cakes?
Yes, absolutely. It's a great place to start. These cakes are unbelievable.
I know. The thing with wedding cakes is that they are the thing that kind of brings the whole wedding together.
You think about a colour scheme and you think about flowers, but then you don't think that maybe maybe the cake could be part of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
But you've also just got to be careful that some things can go very, very wrong with cakes. You need to make sure you have a cake that's going to feed enough people. There's nothing worse than handing out the cake and not having enough of it.
Yeah.
You obviously want to make sure that you don't have a drunk usher that falls into the table and your cake goes
Yeah, I
everywhere.
suppose you have to make sure people can't fall over or
So
fall
not
into it.
not near the dance floor, for example.
Wow. With so much to think about, who better to advise than owner of the shop and a cake designer of the year, Ronka Lala.
This is our wonderful cake expert.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
In terms of design, do you have anything in mind that you like?
I haven't really thought about the design.
Do you like this like the lace effect?
The lace effect is very pretty, isn't it? I'm thinking in terms of a dress that like I will be lace as opposed to silky.
True.
So I feel like maybe the cake could complement the dress. I'm trying to decide basically between doing a tiered cake with, you know, a sponge and a buttercream, you know, maybe different flavors on each of the tiers or something, or like a macaroon pyramid type thing.
You know, you can actually incorporate macaroons on this one as well.
Could you?
You can just put some macaroons around it.
Yeah, that's true,
And
actually.
the colours that will go with your flowers as well.
Design aside, the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
I'll get all the stuff ready.
So Tiffany and Kirsten sample some flavours.
Oh, wow.
This is the best part of my job.
We've got the vanilla raspberry, we've got lemon and lemon curd filling.
Lovely.
We've got lavender, we've got orange, and we've got chocolate. Yeah?
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Okay? All right then.
They were a bit. It's too close to marzipan. I think.
10 out of 10 for the chocolate. That is delicious.
Let's give it another go. Just to be sure.
If you had to make a decision right now on what flavour?
I think for me it's the old classic Victoria is happening and the chocolate. And then for something out there, I would go for the lavender, I'd say.
Well, that's the flavours sorted, but what about the macarons?
Rosewater is delicious. This is going to be the hardest decision of the whole wedding. What you need to think about is what colours and flavours you want on the cake, and then are you going to have a kind of a dessert table, so we're going to have the cake in the middle and then maybe macaroons around so that people can just help themselves to macaroons if they like. So you can make it a big theme. You've got your beautiful cake, the macaroons all match. Hopefully you have a lace on the cake that matches your dress.
Yeah.
So it kind of all comes together.
Now Kirsten has a better idea of what she wants.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Ready to go.
It's down to cake designer Ronka to craft it.
Still going.
I really like the vanilla, the lavender and the chocolate.
And you also want the macaroons.
Yeah. So I was thinking we could have, you know, the macaroons as we talked about, you know, decorating the cake.
What I'll do is I'll do a much better sketch, and then you can then come back to me and say this is what you like and this is what you don't want, and then book you in.
And in the meantime, we can finish off all of this cake because we're not leaving until it's all gone.
Take sample plates as well.
The wedding cake is the cherry on the top of any celebration. These beautiful yet fragile creations must be treated with the utmost care to avoid any cake catastrophes. In Romania, this 4-tiered tower of carefully crafted sponge is making a sparkling entrance. But as the ushers wheel it past a thrilled crowd, it turns from showstopper to a wedding crasher. Almost setting the bride on fire in the process. I guess if you want a job done properly, you just have to do it yourself.
Do it, Ryan. Do it.
The tradition of breaking a wedding cake over a bride's head, dates back to ancient Roman times. It supposedly brings good luck and fertility. How smashing. Which wasn't the intention this waiter had in Armenia. When he slammed a bottle of bubbly on the table, the newlyweds could only watch on helplessly as the 5-tier centrepiece of their wedding came crashing down. And now, a wedding where one unsuspecting guest became the bride?
And suddenly, the doors began to open and my friends said, "You are the bride."
Meet childhood sweethearts, Mercedes Villan and Gustavo Ortiz.
I met my husband, Gustavo, when I was 7 years old. He was 9 years old. We met when I moved to the neighborhood.
Yo siempre le dije a mi mamá que ella iba a ser mi mujer, que el amor de mi vida iba a ser Mercedes.
Mercedes and Gustavo have been together for over 30 years and have 3 children.
Gustavo and I got married in a civil ceremony in 2003. At that time, we have been together for 17 years.
Although they opted for a low-key ceremony back then, Gustavo knew that it was Mercedes' dream to have a big church wedding. So, without her knowing, he set about making her dream a reality.
Me resultó muy difícil encontrar una iglesia o un cura que nos casara sin el consentimiento de Mercedes. Y hasta que, bueno, encontré a Sebastián, el cura de la iglesia del Sagrado Corazón de Jesús, y me dijo que sí.
With a priest on board, Gustavo then executed an elaborate plan that his friend Walter was getting married and mocked up a fake invitation.
Hablé con una compañera de mi trabajo, que es actriz, que hizo de novia de Walter, y vinieron a casa a entregarnos la tarjeta, haciéndose pasar como que iba a ser la futura novia de Walter.
Mercedes happily accepted the invitation. And on the day of the wedding, she was blissfully unaware of the surprise in store.
When we arrived to the entrance of the church, there were some of our friends there. And I say, "Why are the doors closed?" And they say, "We don't know, we have to wait here." And suddenly, the doors began to open and my friend said, "You are the bride." And immediately I saw my father and I said, "What?" And I began to see all my friends there and it was, no, I cannot believe it. My father told me, "This is the moment you are going to get married by church." And I say, "Oh, Father, I cannot believe it. Oh, Dad, this is incredible."
A few finishing touches were added, like a veil and flowers, and then Mercedes was ready to become the bride.
When I was going to begin to walk through the aisle, suddenly I saw my children. When I hugged them, it was the first time that I began to cry. It was a very special moment.
Cuando la veo caminando a Mercedes junto al padre del brazo, nada, estaba muy emocionado y nervioso porque, nada, creo que había cumplido el sueño de los dos. Cuando Mer llega al lado mío, me dice en el oído, "Al final lo hiciste, estás loco."
I said, "I love you so much." That was another special moment.
Yo realmente me sentía muy feliz porque se dio todo, nunca Mercedes sospechó, todos mis amigos, mi familia me ayudaron a hacer esta locura. Todo el mundo me decía, "Estás loco."
I felt very, very happy and full of love. It was one of the happiest days of my life.
En nombre del Padre, y del Hijo, y del Espíritu Santo. y darle un buen beso.
Cuando Sebastián, el padre, nos dice, bueno, son marido y mujer, fue el mejor beso de toda mi vida.
It was 4 months in the planning, but Gustavo's big secret played out perfectly.
It was a really, really crazy wedding, and we are going to remember forever.